Hi, I'm Christopher.
Hello, I'm David, and this is the Williams Legacy.
Love on top.
Welcome to our second episode.
Yes.
Number 2 of the Williams Legacy, Love on Top. We are really excited to be bringing you this episode again. I hope you enjoyed the last one. It was Honesty in Relationships. We got a lot of feedback from that particular one.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was really good. So we're just happy to be with you here today. Last week we talked about the fact that we were going to talk about sex this week.
Yes.
But in the wake of a tragedy of a friend of mine's, rest in peace, Derek E. Smith, passing away from HIV-related illnesses.
Yes.
We decided that we should talk about stuff or a subject that is really affecting the community.
Yes. Health basically is the subject, but it's / HIV and AIDS.
Yes, we want to talk about health and HIV and AIDS and have the discussion that people aren't having.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people are having the discussions about how not to contract HIV and AIDS, but a lot of people are not having a conversation about what to do once you do
Once you have the virus.
Yes.
Yes.
And how to move forward. And I know we want to make sure that what happened to our friend doesn't happen to other people.
No, at all.
Yeah. So this one is a little deep, so hold on to your bootstraps. We promise you in later episodes that we will have a little bit of fun, but this time we want to make sure that we really hit on the hard pressing issues.
Right. Especially in the gay community and trans and lesbians and all the issues that we have as a community have something to do with this virus, this HIV virus that is affecting the gay community, and not only just the gay community, but the Black community as well.
Absolutely.
And this is a serious topic, but we also it's going to be certain things that we're going to talk about as relationship with somebody that have HIV and somebody not have HIV, or two relationships with people that have HIV and the other person that have HIV as well.
So I don't know, how do we start this conversation off? I kind of just wanted to jump right in and talk about the fact that we have been plagued as a community with this disease for over 30 years now.
Yeah.
And there was a point in time when people were dropping and dying so quickly, back to back. I remember a friend of mine had told me that he would have gone to about 2 to 3 funerals in a day.
Wow.
Sometimes 10 in a week. So we have come very far,
right,
where the amount of people or the lifespan of a person with the virus is much longer now. You know, you can live a normal life after having the virus.
Yes.
But, you know, there's 2 groups of people that I've come to notice that exist. There are AIDS denialists, and those are people that believe that if you take the medication, it actually makes you worse.
Yep.
And that that HIV does not lead to the AIDS virus.
Right.
And then there are those people who are on the side of modern Eastern medicine, who believe that taking medication prolongs your life. It makes you live longer. What do you think?
I feel like the second people, basically, taking the medication makes, if you take your meds like you're supposed to take your meds and keep up, not just only take your meds, but eat healthy and treat your body healthy and work out, and also taking your meds, you could live a long life. It's just that you just have to be specific with doing it all the time, and not just 1 minute I take my meds and 3 months went by and I don't take my meds again, because the medicine is not going to be as effective like it was helping you back then.
Yeah. I believe that everybody has a right to have their own opinion with a lot of different issues. But in my opinion, and I feel very strongly about this opinion, we don't have time as Black LGBT community, with all the numbers of people that we're using to sugarcoat pussyfoot around the issue of HIV and AIDS.
Yes.
I'm sure that most of our watchers will already know very clearly what the virus is.
Right.
But if you don't, it stands for human immunodeficiency virus. And what it is it is a virus that enters your body the majority of times through unprotected sex, through some sexual activity, mostly intercourse.
Yes.
And every once in a while someone will contract it through intravenous drug use.
Yes.
But it is a virus that attacks your immune system. So what it does is it breaks down your immune system so that you cannot fight off certain illnesses that should not be deadly to your body,
Right.
but then they are because your immune system is compromised.
Right.
And what the medication does is it helps to put blockers to help your immune system build so that the T cells in your body, which are the cells that fight off infections and things, can continue to grow, and so that the virus doesn't replicate and grow in your system.
Right.
I felt very, very convicted to do this with the loss of my friend because, and I'm sure that he wouldn't mind me giving his story, but he was positive from the time I met him. And he at one time did not believe that he should take medication because, he had issues with the side effects and, it made his stomach hurt and things like that. But the result was that he didn't make it.
Right.
And we don't want anybody else to
No.
have to go through that same exact line or that same result. Because in the end, it's better to take a medication that makes your stomach hurt or doesn't allow you to sleep at night, which the majority of the times those side effects end, than to lose your life at such a young age.
Yes, and we really don't want that as that to actually come to somebody and harm somebody. That's why we just, we doing this whole thing of, sometimes if you have a partner that have HIV and you negative, sometimes it's always to practice safe sex.
Yes. So that is probably the list of things that we're probably going to go down today. Ways to deal with HIV. That would be whether you have the virus,
right,
or whether you do not have the virus or you're trying to not get the virus.
Right.
Number one would be safe sex.
Yes.
Use condoms. That applies to people who are negative and positive.
Right.
Negative one, because if you're negative, of course, you do not want to contract the virus.
Right.
So the use of condoms protects you. Positive,
right,
because positive people using condoms, number one, not infecting anyone else unknowingly, because many people have the virus and don't even know that they have the virus.
right,
And secondly, something along the lines of an article I was reading about double infecting people.
right,
Someone who has the virus but has a different strain than you, and now unprotected sex with someone who is positive leads to their medications now not working.
wow,
So protection is number one.
Right.
Number two, there's a new medication. Have you heard about it?
Um, yeah, I have. That is that the one with like they do like you could put it's like a medicate. It's like a pill that
It's a
you
pill.
take and stuff to prevent if you do have unprotected sex that it will prevent you from getting the virus. Basically, is that
Yes,
the
it's
one?
called PrEP.
Okay.
What it is it's a prophylactic or preemptive measure that people take to prevent themselves from being infected. And what essentially it is an antiretroviral medication, which is similar to the medication that's taken when people contract the virus.
Oh,
But it's taken before you get the virus, and what it's supposed to do is to build shields around your cells so that when the HIV virus enters your body, that it has no place to replicate and grow. And if it can't replicate and grow, then it will die.
wow.
So it is a preventive measure from getting HIV. Some people use it in place of condoms, but the Food and Drug Administration has said that they feel like it's most effective as almost like a second wall in addition to using condoms. So using condoms and taking the PrEP pills. I myself haven't taken it or know what the side effects are, but I think it's an individual case that you should consult your doctor and find out if it's something that works for you.
Right, especially if you're a person that is very sexually active,
Yes.
person that that loves sex and love to have sex. It's always good that to protect yourself if you don't like condoms because there's certain things that I heard from people that condoms is so like uncomfortable using it. Sometimes it rips sometimes. So this is like another chance of this pill. Basically, if you take it, you probably won't have to have on a condom. Basically, you just take it and it will prevent you getting the virus.
It will prevent you from getting the virus. So they said it's 99.9% effective.
That's really good.
That's really good.
Really good.
But the trick is that you have to take that pill every single day. Because I believe it takes a certain amount of time for it to react to the body to build up the protection of your cells. So you can't think that you would take it on Monday and by Wednesday you can go out and have a good time and
do everything
and then think you'll be protected.
Right.
Make sure you read the fine print and understand exactly how this works. So the first thing is to protect yourself.
Yes.
Number two is I want to talk about the stigma of HIV in our community. We kind of make it seem as if someone has HIV as if they're untouchable,
Right.
or they're unlovable,
Right.
or they're contagious.
Right.
And that mindset or that stigma of HIV on people, what it really does is it prevents people from being open about their status,
Right.
which thereby leads to further infection. Because if people can't be open about it and can't say who they are and what's ailing them, then what usually happens is they resort to measures of self-destruction.
Right.
And what happens then is that they begin to spread it, sometimes unknowingly and sometimes even knowingly. So we have to break that stigma of thinking that because you're positive or because a person is positive, that they're somehow lower.
Right, and that's not even the case. Sometimes it's always good that you could talk to a psychiatrist, basically about the issue. That to express yourself of you having the virus, and if you express yourself and be a little bit more open that you have it, then I guess when anything that comes or anybody or any relationships or even you will be even more comfortable to take the medication and take different things and tell the person that you have the virus.
And then you can build a support system.
Right.
You know, you can build a support system of people who will hold your feet to the fire and make sure that you're taking care of yourself.
Right.
Most of the time, people isolate themselves, they don't tell anybody, and they don't build a support system of people that are able to help them.
Right, and that's not good. You know, sometimes you want to build a support system because people want to know what's going on with you, and you know, if you actually have somebody that actually help you through this, because everybody needs somebody to help them through this, because this is something seriously. This is have to do with if you don't do the right thing or make the wrong decisions, it could end up badly. So it's best to have somebody help you and support you through this journey.
Yeah, and we gotta break that stigma. That stigma separates us as a community.
Yeah.
It separates us, the weak from the strong. It puts us in a hierarchical society that I'm better than you. I'm on this level, you're down here. When the truth is, everybody can make a mistake and end up in that same thing, in that same predicament. People say that, oh, you know, I would never make that mistake. You know, this is 2015. People ought to know to use condoms. But the truth of the matter is, everyone at some point has had a slip up.
Yeah.
Whether they may have been intoxicated or done it in a moment of, oh, I love the person.
Right.
They've had a slip up. So we don't want to judge those people who have had a slip up that anybody can have. We have to really break that stigma that says you have HIV, that means that you're nasty.
Right.
You're promiscuous. In fact, I know for a fact plenty of people who were not promiscuous and contracted the virus from the first time they ever had any type of sexual interaction. So we have to break that stigma. It's very important in this community. How can we expect to go out in the world and have people accept us for who we are if we can't accept each other?
Right. And some people that actually don't know about HIV because some people is not educated on it, it's good to educate yourself on it. Basically, the people that don't actually have the virus or the people that actually do have the virus, it's good to educate yourself on it. That way you don't make judgment on somebody else.
Yeah, because knowledge is power.
It is.
Knowledge is power. The more you know, the better you do.
Right.
So that stigma has got to be broken. That's number 2. You know, one thing I also was thinking about was the church, because my friend Derek was highly involved in the church world.
Yes.
Huge. We're laughing because I don't think we know anybody that was more involved in church than he was. But I want to talk about the church and how the church needs to be held responsible for its methods on HIV and AIDS and how it deals with it. Because a lot of times people who were born and raised in religious societies or in the church come out and are more susceptible to the virus because they don't have any kind of understanding of even what it is. They haven't been trained, they haven't been taught, they have never heard about it. All they've been told was don't have sex.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is, when you are a young person in this community or even not in this community, you're going to have sex.
Yeah.
So the church needs to make a change on its stance of abstinence and start to teach safe sex in the church.
Right.
Because we are living in a time where teenagers are going to leave the thought process of what they were raised to believe and do their own thing. And then when they go out there, they're going to think that the world is like the church.
Right.
And that it's supposed to be a safety for them, but it won't be.
No.
And then they don't have any kind of knowledge on how to protect themselves. So then they go out and the first person that they get with, they contract the virus.
Right, because they sleep unprotected. Because the church didn't teach them about condoms, and about HIV, about STD, all of the disease at once. They didn't teach them nothing. So they don't know nothing. They're not even thinking. They just thinking that this is my boyfriend or this is my girlfriend and I want to have sex at the moment. But you really need to think because this is serious and the church really need to get on board with it and stop this.
Yes, they have to get on board quickly and stop preaching abstinence, 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 and teach what works for this time and age, and that's protection.
Right.
Teach protection. Have workshops in the church on HIV and AIDS. Embrace the community to save the community.
Right.
Because if you don't embrace them and they can't get any help from you, then we are sure to continue to lose young people. And we want to be the change that we want to see in the world. Bishop Flanger recently said, what if we are the change? What if we are not waiting for Jesus to come back, but we are to be the Christ in the world to protect our brothers and sisters?
Right.
So, it's time to stop this. The church has to talk about issues of sexuality and not be afraid or shy away from those issues, because if you don't, you are blood guilty.
Yes.
The blood is on your hands. And I hate to be so strong. Actually, I really don't. But you will be changed.
Yes.
So get it together.
Get it together. The third one is get tested.
Get tested.
I just feel like, sometimes you have some people that don't know they have the virus, or you have some people that they know they have the virus, but the people that have the virus, they should get tested, like do certain things to know what's their numbers is, and the people that don't have the virus. It's good to get tested anyway because you want to know if you have the virus.
Yeah. Again, knowledge is power. If you know better, you do better.
Right.
If you have been diagnosed with HIV, go to your doctor. Find out what the regimen that your doctor is going to put you on. Don't think that you can just stop, stay still, go on with life, and do nothing because your body feels fine.
Right.
Because the virus is very tricky. Right. You can have it in your body for years and then have no reaction to it, and then one day, out of the clear blue, you're sick and you're ill, you're in a hospital, and next thing you know, we're burying you. And I hate to be very blunt about it, but in order for it to really get to your heads, you have to say that this illness can lead to death.
Right. It could. And it could basically just lead to really something that has something to do with, like, something. It's best to actually get tested. It's a good thing about it. Just get tested and do what you need to do.
Yeah. So that's the third one. Get tested. Make sure that you keep up with your numbers, that you keep up with to know how much T cells you have, to know how much the viral load is in your body, because all of that matters. And if you take your medication, then once you have contracted the virus and you take your medication, you can live a long and healthy life. I know people who have been affected since probably the 80s.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 30, 25, 30 years, and they're still living healthy and productive lives. Right. So it is quite possible to live a healthy and productive life if you test yourself, if you keep up with your numbers, right, and things like that. But you have to take it seriously.
Yeah, because this is no game, and I don't know certain people, but I heard certain things about some people that's going out there and getting the virus just to live a certain lifestyle, and that's not okay as well.
Oh, let's talk about that. We ran down the 3 important steps about how to protect yourself, but let's use the rest of this time to talk about those type of things, and then let's talk about a little bit about relationships as far as people who are positive and people who are negative. That whole thing with pause parties, that's what they call them. I just think it's really crazy that someone will go out and try to get the virus because they feel like they want to live for free or don't want to work. If this is a way for them to better their lives.
Right, and I want a new apartment, so let me just get HIV so I don't really have to work up to that. I feel like that's not a good step. That's not at all. You need to, anything that you need in life, you need to work up for it, not just to get HIV, just to, just go out there and I want an apartment because I see my friend have an apartment, so I want it as well. That's not great.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
Because this is something that you're gonna have to live with for the rest of your life.
Right.
And the same way that everybody else could work to go get what they need, so could you.
Right.
Now I'm not looking down on people who use social services in order to live. If that's something that you felt like you had to do once you contract the virus, that's fine. But if you are intentionally trying to get the virus so you can live a certain way, don't do it.
No.
And then most of the majority of those people who do that don't even take their medications after the fact, and then they end up sick and dead.
Right.
So it's just really important that we be very careful about and take this virus seriously.
Yeah, take it very seriously because this is something that has to do when you get this virus. It's going to affect your whole life.
And it will affect your family.
Yeah.
It'll affect the people that love you the most. It'll affect everything. And it's not something that only affects you.
Right.
And then I said we were going to talk about briefly people in relationships as far as being positive and the partner being negative.
Right.
I just want to put out something to those partners who are negative with positive partners. Hold your partner's feet to the fire.
Right.
Make sure they do what they need to do. It is your responsibility.
Your responsibility.
As a partner of someone who is HIV positive, to make sure that they're going to the doctors, to make sure that they're taking their medications. There's no, they're adults, so they do what they want.
Right.
If you are in a relationship with someone and you care about their life,
right,
then you should take steps to make sure that these people are doing what they need to do to survive and to live.
Right. Right.
It is your responsibility, and for people who are negative with positive partners have a responsibility to make sure that they protect their partners from the virus, to make sure that their partners are not open or susceptible to receive or to contract the virus.
Right. I do agree, and it's your responsibility because you don't want to see your partner go down that road.
You don't want to see your partner go down that road.
But since that we have this whole conversation about HIV and AIDS, we want your comments basically to tell us what do you think that people that have HIV or people that with HIV and AIDS and stuff. We want your comments.
Yeah, what can you do? What is your take on it? And what is the next steps on how to combat this virus? Because it's been 25, 30 plus years of combating the virus, and even though there has been some forward movement, we're still in a place where people are dying.
Yes.
So we want you to comment and to tell us what your take is on it. Tell us your story.
Right.
Tell us your friend's story.
Right.
Speak to us about what you've gone through. And we want to dedicate this video to the memory and to the life of a friend that I'll never forget.
Yes.
Mr. Derek Eason.
Yes. I love you, Derek.
We love you very much. We honor your life, and you will never be forgotten.
Oh, yes. I love you.
You will be missed.
Yes, definitely.
So this is the Williams legacy. Love on time. Until next time, we'll have a more less deep and serious topic to talk about. We gotta really talk about the hard hitting issues.
Yes.
But we love you guys for watching, and we will be back next week, every Thursday on YouTube. The Williams Legacy. Love on time. See you later, guys.
Okay.